That's right. It is the La Femme Film Festival 2020, and we're continuing our live virtual coverage here of all the amazing film people. That's right, all the people that make film possible. And if you haven't already, you should definitely go check it out right here, right now. I'm talking about the La Femme International Film Festival online experience extravaganza. Yes, supporting women and diversity for 16 years. Something that's been going on for quite some time. Look at all the great films, which, by the way, I'm just going to go right here. Life in Synchro. Look at this one. This one right here that I'm pointing to. Not sure if you can see that with the video moving right now. I can't wait to talk to this filmmaker. It's a documentary, and I can tell you right there. Look at that. Look at that. Synchronized skating. Have you seen it? Do you know about it? Oh, you're going to want to know about it. Yeah, that's coming up a little bit later as well. So super excited about that. And look at this little option. You can actually go ahead and just for $4.99, you can go ahead and check it out. But you can do that with all of these. Look at that. Look at that. $4.99, $4.99. Or you can, well, let's see what else we got. We got this. We got this. We got Matilda. That looks pretty cool. And if you just want to see the trailer, you just have to hover it like this. And you get to go, oh, okay, that's what they were talking about on the live interviewing. Oh, this one, I can't wait to see. Diving Deep, the life and times of Mike DeGray. We didn't get Mimi on this one, but I hope one day we can get her on. It's a very interesting conversation. But check this out. Couples therapy? Yes, please. I think during coronavirus, a lot of people could do coronavirus. We should call it coronavirus couples therapy, right? I don't know. Are you finding love during coronavirusville? I want to know about it, seriously. But as you can see, just so many, and you could go check it out right there, or you could just click on the home feature here. Just type in sia.live channel La Femme home, or just click on the link that we're provided for you there, right there. Okay, so you could get a single ticket, see that, and you could get all those. Or you can get a panel pass if you just want to like learn the business. You can do that as well. That's available. It gets you into 6 panels right there. And Film Pass, check this out. Film Pass only for $19.99. It gets you all of the films, all the screenings, plus the Q&A and all of that. That's pretty cool. And then, of course, All Access Pass for $49.99. How cool is that? So you can get all that and more all right there. Just buy. I would just go for this one. I mean, you get more bang for your buck anyway. And think about it. You're doing something for a lot of the people here that actually it just makes sense, right? Because you're providing a means of allowing us to do the same thing. We normally bring everybody into the Regal Cinema Theater, and then we put everybody up, huddle them together. They have parties and everything. But during coronavirus, you could feel a little isolated. So don't feel isolated anymore. We got we got the solution to the sad bug in the world, right? Because there's a sad bug going around, and we need to stop it, kill it, and eradicate it. But until then, let's enjoy a little bit of interesting documentaries and short films, including this one. I'm talking about Piece of Me. That's coming up around the corner. Obscure is another one. Obscure by Kunlin Wang. We're going to be joined by that around the corner as well. And let's see, we've got Couples Therapy. We're going to be talking to that with Michaela Zanu. Crash and Burn by Teresa Juntao. And let's see, here's one. Let's see, Anjali Nath, Privacy Please. So all that and more. We're going to take a quick little break. We'll be right back right after this. Check out the trailer, okay? This is a pretty cool trailer of, we're going to show you 2 trailers right here, right now, okay? Here it is. One of the whole film festival, normally when we're not in coronavirusville, right? Which if we can't eradicate it, we might be doing this for the next, who knows, year and a half, hopefully we're over it this year, but I'm not throwing caution to the wind. I'm still just saying, okay, just saying. This might be the new norm for quite some time. But anyway, La Femme is where it's at. And check out the panel discussions. Here they are. Check it out.
You know, in the beginning, all films were short.
It's not a charity. We're not here to help you. We're not here to help your cause. We're there to make our money make money.
It probably takes a year to 2 years to really start seeing money.
That title of executive producer on a feature is not the same as the title of executive producer on a television show.
Because what you're seeing on television right now is history in terms of where decisions are being made today.
Don't give yourself a bad review.
before you start.
I'm sorry, I'm super awesome, and this is my pitch.
What are recommendations for packaging?
Getting to the right person at the right time, and you have the right piece of the package that they want to see.
And be able to adjust, because the plan will never execute exactly as you plan it.
If you set aside money for social media, for a publicist, for marketing, things like that, and really you don't have to sit behind those dollars and you can have more control of your own release.
You can't go wrong. Like, as for me, I knew that my episode was either going to be awesome or fine. Like, that's the risk you take.
That's right. So how cool is that? I'm just texting people. So I'm like, hey, you guys got to go to sia.live, because everybody's like, where do I find that information, right? People are texting me right now. I'm like, there's a link. Just look for it. But some of them aren't seeing it on the Periscope app. So, but there's a link on our description on everywhere else, YouTube, Facebook. It's one of the few shows that actually were broadcasting to multiple different channels, which online is where it's at, right? I mean, if you're not online, I mean, seriously, what are you doing with your time, right? So we're on Facebook, we're streaming to YouTube Live, and we're streaming to Twitter's very own Periscope TV. So look, wherever you're finding us at, we appreciate you. Subscribe to that little box you have there. Who knows? You might find some other really good information as well. All right, so there's that. And then check this out. This is the festival, okay? This is the normal festival, and we usually have an award show. Really cool. It's done so, like, extravagant. Last year was just amazing. We did this whole multi-camera setup situation. It was just fantastic, and all the people got to get their awards. This year's a little, we're still going to make it special, because, you know, every day is special. In fact, I understand we're adding a pretty cool little social media block this coming Thursday. Maybe. I don't know. Don't hold me to the fire right now. But maybe might be a way for all filmmakers to do a little networking. How cool is that? Because we used to have fun parties, but coronavirus. Okay, and enough about that. More about this. Check this out. This is the La Femme Film Festival. This is a typical average year at the La Femme Film Festival. Watch. That's right. So there you go. That's an average day. It's usually a festival of 4 days, okay, and 4 nights, and just amazing fun each and every day. A lot of filmmakers usually come into the LA area to be able to experience it all, and then they get to partake of all the really cool panels, as we mentioned before. A lot of great stuff. But there you go. Okay, so joining me around the corner, I'm going to have a couples therapy joining me. We're going to take a quick break. Couples therapy. I got questions that need to be answered, especially during coronavirus. I think this was pre-coronavirus, but I think couples therapy is like appropriate for everybody, no matter how long you've been married and or short you've been married. I'm sure it's more needed than just divorce counseling, right? I'm just saying, couples therapy, it's a thing. Do you get couples therapy before you get divorced, or after you get divorced, or before you even get married? I don't know, but I do know this. We'll be right back right after this with Michaela. She's going to be joining us. Check it out. All right, I'm joined right now with Michaela Zanu. Did I get it wrong? Zanu.
Mm-hmm.
I close enough. Michaela, where are you tuning in from?
I'm actually in Seattle. Okay, here we go. I'm actually New York based, but I'm visiting family. So right now I'm in Seattle.
Hey, you know what? I love Seattle. Never been there. Need to go. But couples therapy, I understand. Did this take place also in Seattle? And what's the divorce rate there, or breakup
Actually,
rate, or is it none of the above?
It takes place in New York, and it talks about Natalia, a successful couples therapist who treats neurotic New York couples while her own marriage is falling apart, and for the life of her, she can't follow her own advice and save her own marriage. So we see like a lot of couples and what they're dealing with, and at the same time it's this like juxtaposition of her giving great advice to her patients but then going ahead and making the same mistakes in her own life.
You know what? I shouldn't even talk, but I have found that the majority of people in the professional field are great at giving advice. They are fantastic. All their advice, if you just listen to it and absorb it and take it in, it works. But it's just harder. Like I know very tough Army people that have family members that are like, they don't respect them. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, totally. And it's like a friend of mine always says, you can't read the label if you're in the jar. So it's completely different when you're in the situation than when you're outside and watching. You can't be like sober when you're in the situation like that.
Yeah, I call it not getting outside of your bubble or your world. So sometimes, like, even doctors need help from other doctors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes, and it's okay to accept that. But, obviously putting this project together, look, divorce rate is at an all-time high right now. I don't know if you heard, coronavirus is happening around the world, and people are getting mad, stressed, and upset. Is there, do you think people can learn anything from watching this, or they're just going to feel more frustrated?
I mean, I don't think they're going to feel more frustrated. If anything, like, I feel that when you see that other people have the same issues as you do, you're not alone in this, and they will be entertained and kind of like take things a little, lightly. And maybe they will be inspired to go to couples therapy themselves, because I feel that, couples therapy works best as a preventative measure as for kind of like a reactionary measure to having issues. And a lot of people do it kind of like they don't really have any issues, but they want to kind of like be ahead of the game and, just cultivate that great communication methods. Because, when I was writing this, I talked to a lot of couples therapists, and they all told me if I could sum up couples therapy in 2 words, it would be bad communication. That it's not that they don't love each other or that there are, some huge issues. It's all about bad communication and not communicating properly.
Yeah, I've heard it said sometimes people do speak, but they hear something different. Does that make sense? Because sometimes you need almost that middle person to say, I mean, I know growing up, I remember hearing my dad and then my mom on complete opposite ends. I understood what they both were trying to say, but they were so much in their own mind, they didn't know what each other were saying. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it totally does. And like, I could say something that for me means, take the trash out, but for you, it could mean like you're not man enough, or you're like you're a bad husband, or just whatever. People just project their own things into things you say. And that's not always the case. Like it could be as simple as just please take the trash out, but people are have their own baggage and their own trauma, so they're just gonna project their own things. So it's good to kind of like get it out of the way and be like, hey, just when you say that, this triggers me, or blah blah blah, just to look into each other's like souls and like figure out how our minds work, just so that we can like
I'm glad you said that. You mentioned a keyword, souls, right? People oftentimes say, oh, you're my soulmate, I love you. And then when times get tough, all of a sudden, soulmate goes out the window and in comes like just, I don't know what you call it, but I think especially when there are kids involved. Now, can you tell me one of the stories that personally touched you that was in this or is in this particular project of yours?
Well, the main couple is dealing with infidelity, and that is definitely like a hard subject because, especially in America, I find I'm from Greece, I'm from Europe. So like, I feel like, especially in America, they feel that, cheating on someone is like the worst thing that could possibly happen. And like, if someone cheats on you, you should break the marriage. And whereas like, there are so many other vows that person kept, let's just, talk about it and what that means for the relationship, as opposed to what it looks like in the society, and can you come out of cheating? Can you come out of the other side with, you know, a strong foundation and a strong marriage, or is that something that caused irreparable damage to your marriage?
You and I could be talking for a whole hour on this subject, seriously. I should have you on my morning show, seriously. But look, for those that are wanting to watch this, I know I'm going to go ahead and check it out as well. Do you know which day it's premiering here? Because I know it's on demand, but do you have a special viewing?
I would really love people to come to the screening that I'm hosting at Sia Live, which is at 3:30 Pacific time, 3:30 p.m. Pacific time, or 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, where we'll watch it together, and then there will be a Q&A after. I'm not familiar with the schedule yet, so I don't know if they're just like releasing everything or if it's on specific date, but yeah.
So that's what we call. I think we're calling that the exclusive party, the chat room party. Okay, so we're calling it different things here, but I call or the live Q&A, right? So I think you're going to get a lot of couples coming to you and saying, "Can you help me out?" Because I think you probably know more now than you've ever have, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. A little too much, right? It gets a little exhausting at one point. It's like, can you guys just go get a room, seriously? Because then they get all lovey-dovey and I love you now, right? Anyway, that's the hope, right? That's the hope. Okay, yeah. Michaela, thank you very much for spending time with us again at the La Femme Film Festival 2020. We'll check it out and get the tickets right here, right now. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. Bye.
Absolutely. Bye-bye. That's right. It is the morning. I know. So thank you. I almost went into the morning show because it's like over here. I think it's midnight where you're at, and it's like 7 o'clock at night. But I feel with that music, I feel like kind of like it's a morning show again, right, Paulina?
Time. Yes. Let's rock and roll. How is my sound?
Your sound is fantastic. Thank you. For those who don't know, Paulina Michaels is again here with us, and where she's at, it is literally the other side of the world. Oh, man, okay, almost, kind of, sort of, right?
The edge of the world, as they call it. Well, if I was like in Patagonia or something, but yeah, I'm like down there in Argentina, where it's very late at night. So I'm trying to keep my eyes open and you know, keep this energy going.
I got a Red Bull for you. I can share it virtually. Yeah, there you go. All right.
Yay, cheers.
I know, and I'm trying to get off them, but they're so addicting. Okay, look, obviously a lot of films this year. I don't know about you, but obviously getting to speak with each and every filmmaker, even the last one, Couples Therapy, I feel like we're living in a test environment of couples right now. But you know, you've got a lot going on in your neck of the woods. Talk to me about your Singing. What's going on there? Because a lot of people don't know. You're not just an actress. You're not just a film producer. Wink, wink. In fact, you got your own film. I know we haven't added it to the slate of films, but we really should include it. Leslie Lepage, we got to do it. Can you talk about your film that you have out there?
Yes, actually, I finally released it on YouTube this year, like about a month ago. It's a short film with Eric Roberts.
Whoa. You didn't even submit it to the La Femme Film Festival, Paulina?
No, and today, the whole day, I was really regretting it. I don't know why I didn't. I don't know why I didn't.
Okay, I don't know. I'll make a call.
I wrote it as well, together with my co-writer.
And wait. Is this the one with one of my favorite? Like, okay, I'll let you introduce it because I don't know which one it is because you've done several. I was particularly thinking of the one with a supernatural person in it. You know which one I'm talking about?
Supernatural person in it.
He's only one of the main characters in that other.
That's a documentary. That's a little bit different.
I like that one though. I want to see that one.
For Suicide.
Right, plug both. Just plug both. Again, she knows what she's talking about as a producer, filmmaker. So go for it.
Yeah. So the one that you're talking about the documentary for suicide prevention, I think. And that one is still in the post-production because I'm working on it together with the other co-producer.
Okay.
And she's still working on that side of things.
Well, we need that one done, okay? Like Fast and Furious, because there's a lot of people right now that this would be appropriate for. I hear suicide rates are up, and that's never a good thing.
No. And that is very sad because right now, I think with everything going on, it's very challenging to stay sane, even if you're not alone. Even if you're not alone, you're challenged with the whole restriction thing. And at the same time, you want to be responsible, of course, because...
Okay, so let's flash forward to the one that look, and La Femme Film Festival is saying shame on you. I think it's not on me. I think it might have been on me to not remind you, but you know what? It's okay. Let's talk about that really quick. What is the project? And maybe I don't know. Is it too late to submit her? Is that called? We can't pull a favor. Come on, we can pull a favor. No, we can't pull a favor. I don't know. It's I guess not possible.
An exception, please. No, I mean next year. I have a chance next year, hopefully. But it's a short film with Eric Roberts that I wrote together with my friend Cass, and we did a Kickstarter campaign to fund it.
What's Cass's last name?
She didn't go by the last name in terms of the stage name for producing. So.
Because I worked with the Kaz, so in a production. It was a music video, though, so I didn't know. Kaz is a very...
Nagieva, so it's Russian.
I don't know, maybe not. Okay, anyway, let me stop raiding in on your parade. So talk to me about this, because Eric Roberts is a pretty big name.
Yes, and we were super excited to get him on board, and it was really like the fate knocked on the door, because we put it on Actors Access, and literally he reached out, which was really, I don't know, like a miracle to us. And I thought it was meant to be. The reason he reached out is because he liked the description, like the synopsis of the movie, and because it had to deal with a lot of psychological things and discovering why we are as we are today without judgment. So it was a long process. We've learned a lot. It was the best movie school that I ever went to, best film school that I could have ever been to. We made tons of mistakes, but that's how we learn. So I'm super excited, that it's finally out there in the world.
Well, Paulina, I think, look, you as well as anybody else watching, if you have a film or a project or a something, right, you should always think about the La Femme Film Festival. Oftentimes, I'm like you. I kind of, I get so busy with things, and then sometimes I meet filmmakers, and I try to mention it, and I try to say, hey, you got to go get submitted, right, La Femme Film Festival. I'll be honest, I didn't know if La Femme was going to do one this year, and the fact that Sheila was like, I know her right now. She's going to be like, what? Of course, why would I not do one? That's Leslie Lepage. Leslie, we should get Leslie in on here, seriously, because Leslie is not just the person who started this whole thing, but she was joined by a bunch of other people that says, yeah, we need to do something for women, like we really need to do this, and then all of a sudden, they all kind of disappear, and she's kind of stuck with the whole ball, but she runs with it. Do you find that to be the case often in Hollywood or just around the world with projects? Yeah, I want to help you until the real work comes down to it.
Well, should I be honest with you? Yes, it is something that happens all the time, unfortunately. And one of the things that I discovered really cool here in Argentina, because I started, trying to get more and more people in this world here just to see how acting and, filmmaking is going here, I was surprised that people are actually following through with what they're saying. So I am having a moment of like, okay, I'm having a faith in humanity again. So why don't we, bring it back to LA and just really make it happen? I think it can be done.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, well, we got to take a quick break. We got to regroup. There's something happening with the link, so we're going to send out the link one more time so that I think Kara is over there just waiting to be joined with us. So let's go ahead and get her the recent link. I don't know if it changed overnight, but we'll be right back with more. Again, Paulina Michaels, everybody. That's her, and yeah, she knows the world of filmmaking, not just in front of, but behind, and then musically. You should hear her sing. All right, Paulina, I'm not going to put you on the spot. No need to bust out a tune unless you want to. I'm just saying, but maybe we could hold it to the end, okay?
Yes.
Okay, we'll be right back with more here of La Femme Film Festival 2020. All right, if you're just joining us, there we go. We got people tuning in here. Okay, so it seems that like our link ended up not working, but we appreciate you guys there. Okay, so let us regroup just real quick. We're going to take a quick little break. We got people just waiting in the room. If you're just joining us on our live broadcast, again, anything can and does happen. Right, Paulina?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back in just 2 and 2. I always wanted to do that. You remember that? Love Connection? 2 and 2? No? 2 and 2. What's up? All right, we'll be right back. That's right. We're here with Teresa Junetown, and look, we've got evidently an awesome person next to her. Teresa, I'm going to let you introduce.
December Fades is his artist name, and it was his song that we made the music video for.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's talk about this because December Fades, you know, it happens to be my favorite month. It's the month I was born in, but the actual name is Crash and Burn. What's going on with that? Why are we crashing? Why are we burning? Is it a good thing, bad thing?
It's good and bad. It started off good, and then, you know, excitement and the intensity and the passion, and then it all kind of crumbling.
I got it. Okay. Hey, you know what? No judgment. Paulina, you know something about the music world, right? But Teresa, I got to ask, if you were able to have a moment in the sun, would you lend your voice to his next track?
My voice to his next track. I would definitely lend it, but I don't think I have the talent that is required for his kind of quality. For like, I directed and edited and performed in it as an actress and a dancer, so I was not singing on the track. Let me help him out with the explanation of Crash and Burn. Crash and Burn, his song is very heavy and beautiful and demonstrates the emotion of what relationships go through, and it's unexpected vulnerability. And typically one person has power and another person could say seduced or is falling, but at the end there's a little twist and you can see where there's a transfer of power. So the one before that has fallen, whether it's lust or love, and you're confused by what it is, whoever has fallen ends up taking the power, and the person that had the power has fallen also. So the person that had the power and didn't think that they would fall for the person ends up losing theirs. And that's where, and we all know, that's what love is. And which one is it per person? And it you know, you have to gain the strength to realize what it is and to realize when to walk away.
I like it.
Beautifully said. What was the inspiration behind the song and behind the music video? Of course, the music video was the song, but what was the story behind the song?
Well, it was a short-lived, intense relationship that was up and down, and you just going through it, and I couldn't, you know, I couldn't deal with the crashing, so I had to pick up my guitar and piano and you know, just feel it out, and it actually the lyric, it starts the song "Good Morning Marilyn," and that was actually the name of the girl.
Oh wow, she's one lucky girl that she gets to be in the song.
Yeah, we have to thank her.
But I woke up dreaming of it, and I woke up with the melody, "Good morning, Marilyn." So that kind of started it all off, because it was like I was holding on to, you know, hoping that it would work, but knowing that it was completely wrong for me, but just, you know, having that desire and need.
Which you kind of almost got to say thank you for allowing her name to be like forever immortalized as a Crash and Burn. I mean, does she know about it? Did she see the film or what? Did you send her a copy? Hey, thanks.
Yeah, hey, that would be a great thing, because we've won some awards. We have like 4 wins and a lot of other, laurels and special mentions and honorable mentions and all of that. And it is, we were basically strangers whenever we shot it. And, Hollywood love story. We're dating now, and it's been.
I kind of figured that.
I felt that too. I was like,
I didn't want to call it out there, but it's kind of obvious, And if it wasn't, I'd be like, hey, you know what? Thank the ex for your next. You got it? All right, guys. Well, I want to say keep it up. Great job. Yes, people, we have filmmakers, we have short films, and we have music videos because let's face it, there's a lot of work to be done behind and in front of the scenes, right?
Yes!
And there's love to be had. I love this. Oh, we got couples therapy. We got people falling in love out of the exes. I love this. This is just, let's keep this going. All right. We have more right after this. The La Femme Film Festival 2020. Go get your tickets. You can check it out. Go check out their video as well. And then, talk about the ex and go for the next. You know what I mean? All right, people. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Sasha.
All right, we got with us Anjali Nath. And Anjali, I understand your project is a short, which actually, if you got together with our last guest, it happens to deal with a little bit of a music video. Can you give me the synopsis on that?
Yeah, basically it's about an influencer who tries to make a music video to get back together with her ex, but just reveals increasingly personal information.
Got it. Okay. Well, Paulina, what do you think about that?
I was actually thinking about the name, and it says privacy, please, right? In the total opposite world of being an influencer. So I think many times those boundaries are just not existent anymore for people that are bloggers or influencers. What do you think as the creator of this film? Was that one of the thoughts behind it?
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely the thought behind the title. The reason I made the film is because here in LA, I have just seen so many people sort of pretend to be something that they're not, whether it's, in relation to their personal views or money or whatever it may be. So I was like, okay, how do I talk about this, but also make it funny? So privacy, please.
Yeah, you know what? I say to people that are in the public realm, be careful what gets out there. I don't know how many fake profiles I've seen of me. One on a dating site I don't even go on. And I was like, who would do that? But look, obviously you did this in somewhat in jest, right? But in reality, let's talk about the film itself. What was the process like for you, again, putting this whole project together?
Well, it started with my co-producer and the other actress in the short, Cassie, and I. We were in an acting class together. I was like, wow, this girl is incredibly talented. I want to make something with her. What's it going to be? So after a party one night, I met someone who basically inspired this short, wrote it in a fit, was up till like 4 or 5 a.m., couldn't sleep. And then out of that, we were sort of like, okay, well, it's just a scene. How can we grow that? And so that became I wrote the song. It's the first song I've ever written, recorded it, produced it, created the music video, and just formed the piece that way.
That's amazing. That's some, I think, natural flow of creative energy. That's really great. Is it just everything falls into one piece and it's happening? It's the best feeling for a filmmaker.
Yeah, speaking of which, we're joined by Cassie Clark, and Cassie. You want to add something to this?
What is the question about? Sorry, I just gone.
Yeah, no. So Cassie, are you're part of this project as well, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the co-producer, and I was the other actress in it.
Got it. Okay. All right. Thank you. I was like, wait, where did this? Okay. So Cassie, look, I understand again, this film with Anjali talking about it. Obviously, the question begs itself. Are you going to work together again? Is this a working relationship we could work forward on?
I would like to. What do you think?
I mean, I would like to as well. It depends on if, I guess if we find synergy on another project.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much kind of it is seeing if we want to work on something, if something like strikes both of us is really interesting again. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, we talked about this recently, as far as like making something else between the two of us.
What was your favorite part about working on this project together?
Oh, my favorite part was set decking my room. It was a lot of fun for me because I just kind of got to destroy it with a bunch of like trash, and I had like a full rotisserie chicken and made it look really old and stuck it in my floor. That was fun.
Yeah, we trashed her room.
That sounds delicious, in so many bad ways. Okay, so look, a film festival by women for all. Why is it so important for you to be a part of this particular film festival, which is a little more different this year than past years during coronavirus?
Well, I mean, I would say that pretty much everybody on our production, probably save for our DP, was a woman. And, growing up, I truly thought my options were acting and singing. I didn't consider that directing or writing were things that I could do. So I love being surrounded by other like-minded women, if you will, and just sharing in that celebration that is, we can all participate and we can all do basically whatever we want to do. It's a new world, and especially being online, like this is crazy. The amount of access we're given.
Yeah, I love it. We got to let you guys go. We've got like other filmmakers just waiting to get in. But for those that want to get a special access to your particular project, do you know which day they can look forward to?
Yeah, October 14th.
Awesome. There it is. Okay, people, thank you very much. Again, go get your tickets now, seriously, before they sell out. Do we have a capacity? I think we should, just saying. Okay, thank you very much, both of you, for spending time with us here at the La Femme Film Festival 2020 Special Edition.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Joining us right now is all the way from the other side of the world, I believe, Kara Harold. Kara, your project, 39.5. You know what? This is something I'm glad you're talking about. Joined by Sherry Page Fogelman, tuning in as well. 39.5. What's this about? Oh, we're having a bit of a difficult time hearing you on your mic.
Audio. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Sherry.
She's asking you if Alex is backstage. That's our cinematographer, and he.
Yes, he is.
We're bringing him on right now. There we go.
Great.
It's the party. All right. Alex, Kara, Sherry, look, you guys, 39.5. That's a very interesting number. Can you tell us why?
Kara, can you?
Go ahead, Kara.
I don't think her audio is working.
Oh, your microphone.
Okay, somebody go.
Okay, so 39.5 is the age. This is an autobiographical film. that she does not play herself, but she wrote. And 39 and a half was the age at which, as a filmmaker, she decided that she wanted to start having children. So she encountered a lot of problems with that, relationship problems, problems with her artwork, and trying to continue to propel herself forward as a filmmaker and in the independent filmmaking world. And it's a comedy.
Well, you know what? 39 and a half is a number that I have recommended to a lot of people to be aware of. And I mean both people. Because sometimes 39 and a half starts to reel around. Sometimes people are in relationships just to have a baby, and others are in relationships just because they don't know why. And I say it should never be just for the baby, but you know what? What do I know?
What do you know?
Kara, I think Kara is still muted. Are you still muted? Unmute yourself. On the stage.
Yeah. Okay, now it's working. Okay. I'm a filmmaker. I can figure out technology. Yeah, so I missed the question, but 39 and a half is are you in relationships just so you could have a baby?
Yeah, pretty much.
I think my problem is that I didn't stay in relationships so that I could have a baby. And so then when I was in 39 and a half, I was like, oh no, what happened? And so even though, so this is sort of that journey of just sort of waiting till the last minute to have a kid, because my life was so fabulous leading up to that point. And also I was doing other things besides like living sort of the traditional life. And I was making films, I was trying to be a professor, and so I just, the biological clock moves a lot faster for women than it does for men. So
and let me clarify what I'm saying by that. Okay, what I mean by that is some men think that women have a lot of time, and some men are in relationships not really wanting a child. And I want to say move along, because sometimes a woman's like, I want to have a child with the right person. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, well, 39 and a half is kind of like, it's kind of a journey of realizing that you're 39 and a half and you can't wait for the right person. And so this woman decides to try to have a kid by herself by going to sperm banks, by asking her friends to be sperm donors, by going to the Midwest briefly because her mom tries to set her up with somebody in the traditional way. And so it's just that journey of just sort of like, well, if I can't make it happen in sort of the traditional way, then I'm just going to make it happen in non-traditional ways that technology and society has allowed for us has empowered us to just be able to have kids on our own if we want to.
Yeah, look, I'm glad you're bringing this up. Alex, I could tell, is rearing to speak over there. Alex, speak your mind.
Nothing. It was a great project. I love to work with Kara and Cherry. It was fantastic. I enjoyed every minute. It was smooth, and I loved it.
I don't understand the subtext of that. I think, Sherry, can you add in the information there?
It was beautiful. I enjoyed every second of that.
It was brilliant. It was a brilliant experience. Kara has historically been a documentary filmmaker, and she made a lot of really feminist films. I mean, I guess, Kara, there's other terminology for it, but just really femme-forward films, to put some alliteration on it. And this was her first taste in narrative film work. So this was her first experience directing actors. And as an actor, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I really honestly, I much like Alex, loved every moment of it. It was this adventure that we were all going on together. And it was magical. And I loved the finished product just as much as I loved the experience of it. So.
And Sherry she plays the character in the film that's like, why do you want to have a kid? Like, why would you give up your everything you have going on for you to have a kid? And she was pregnant in real life. And we had to like mask her stomach. There's a lot of medium shots, and she kept getting bigger and bigger. And we're like, okay, how are we gonna?
I play the unsupported. I play Angela, the unsupportive best friend of the lead, and it was kind of hilarious because in real life, like Kara was saying, I was very pregnant.
That's smart editing, right? Smart editing. All right, guys, we've run out of time, unfortunately. For those that want to go check it out, do you know which day you are premiering with the little, is it after party, pre-party, or all party?
October 15th, 6 p.m. California time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Different times in the Midwest and elsewhere in the world, but yes.
Fantastic. Okay, well, I can't wait to watch this. We've got people saying I'm single. I think somebody's signing up for the sperm bank donor program over there. You got to be careful though. They're letting people's information out, and now I know of one guy who donated his sperm and has like 180 kids out there. Imagine the child support on that one.
I know.
All right, let's make that the next feature. Okay, guys. Thanks for spending time with us. More right after this.
Okay.
All right, we are on our La Femme Film Festival virtual event. Paulina, look, I don't know about you, but I feel like I opened up my mouth and inserted a foot. Nobody lets me explain myself with the 39 and a half. I'm just saying, if you're in a relationship, you should make that well known to the other partner, and the partner needs to say, okay, let's pony up, because I hate it when men are in relationships and they kind of like make the woman their own, but they have no, like, they don't know that the woman wants to have a baby, you know?
Okay, but to be fair, a woman should let the man know too. Like,
that's true, but
so it's not a man's job. It's like two people's jobs to tell to each other. And on top of that, mind changes. People change their mind all the time.
That's true. That's true. I'm just saying. Look, I'm all, I get it. People have the right to choose for whatever. And what I'm just saying is, it's helpful to have some help, if you know what I mean. If you're a single mom out there or single father, I'm just saying it's nice to have a couple. I'm not saying a woman can't do it herself. I've seen it. I know them. I love them. I'm just saying it's nice to have some help, I'm just saying.
It's very difficult, of course.
Yeah, very difficult. Okay, we're trying to get the next person on. I think next coming up with us is somebody who we're going to bring on right here, right now. Let's see. I think, let us go back to break. We'll bring on Katherine next here on with Cold Call. Check it out, but just hold on there. We'll be right back. All right, joining us right now is Katherine Cronin. Katherine, I understand your project is a short, and this is something that I actually know a lot about, and I'm assuming you now do too. Cold Call, what's it about?
It is about a father who gets a call. He's a businessman, and for the first time in his life, it's a call he can't negotiate his way out of. And it's actually based on a true story. He gets a call, and there's a woman on the other end of the line, and she's screaming and she's crying, and he assumes it's his daughter and that she's being held for ransom. We find out over the course of the film that it's actually a prank call. Well, not a prank call. It's someone who's, making a dive for some money. Someone who's hoping that this father is going to wire X number of dollars to free his daughter, but it's a total prank. And he figures it out over the course of the call. And it's based on the true story, and this actually happened to a lot of people that I know, which is unbelievable and awful. And a lot of people lost money because in that moment of terror, it's like, what do? You send the money, So
I actually know someone like that too, that it happened to. So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I guess they call it a granny scam, but I guess it's happened quite a bit. Yeah.
Thankfully, I look, it never happened to me. I always like to play like devil's advocate and be like, so how do we know each other? But I know of others, including, I'm not going to throw his name under the bus, but she took it for a lot of money and she played it out forever. And she's from Mexico, and I can't even say much about that. But here's what I can say. Please tell me this wasn't a personal experience of yours.
My dad got a call like this. Which is awful. Yeah. And he was terrified. It's like in the moment, you don't really think clearly. You're just, all you can hear is like the extreme emotion on the other end of the line. But luckily in real life, my mom was there and she was like, what's going on? So she called me and I picked up and said, hey, what's up? And so my dad actually didn't end up transferring any money. But I have a friend whose grandparents got a call like this, and they did. They spent like $50,000. And of course, they never got it back, and the FBI can't do anything about it because it's, international call. And
yeah, I heard of a family who had saved up $15,000, and this was an in-person scam. And look, they're a dime a dozen. But let's talk about the filmmaking process, okay? Because this is actually done really well. Cold Call, obviously, is this your first film or your 100th film?
Second.
Wow. Well, look, it doesn't look like your first. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, I appreciate that. Does it look like my second?
More like your 20th, let's say. So obviously you got more in you. What was the project like when you were trying to get this fast and furiously done? Because sometimes there's a deadline, right?
Yeah. It was intense. I mean, we shot it in Los Angeles on the streets with police escort and the whole 9 yards. So that was pretty intense, especially for a second-time director, because there were so many moving parts. Luckily, I had an absolutely phenomenal professional actor who, he showed up and knew what to do, which made everything so much easier for me from a technical standpoint because there was so much going on. And then, of course, with COVID, we had to do a lot of our post-production remotely. So I never actually got to sit in a room with the sound designer or anything like that. So that was that was tough too, and of course drug out the entire process. But it worked out. It worked out.
Well, I applaud you for making it work, first of all. That's no easy task. I mean, when you want to be in the same room when you have the sound design, right?
Yeah, at least for the final couple rounds, right?
Yeah, at least.
Yeah,
Trust
at
me.
least.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, well, look, we've run out of time, but for those that want to check out your particular project right there, A, don't get scammed, and B, are you going to do a Q&A for this, or?
Not this time. Not this time. But,
Maybe next time, huh?
Maybe next time. Maybe next time.
Because there's always next year, I'm just saying.
Oh, yes. Not going anywhere anytime soon.
All right, awesome. Katherine, everybody, go check it out. It is called Cold Call. Be careful of the cold. I got a cold text recently, and they were not happy with the advice I gave them because they had this whole like, he proposed to me, and but I said no, and that was supposed to be for their cousin, and I says, you should rethink about saying no if you say you love the guy. He's gonna walk on, but she got upset. Blah 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 blah. It's a thing, whatever. So, don't give advice to people that you just accidentally text you. Yeah, exactly. She might stalk me now and be like, "How dare you?" Okay, anyway. Okay, we've run out of time. Sorry. We'll be right back right after more.
Thank you.
Thank you. Joining us right now is Stephanie Blakey over there. Stephanie, I understand your project, The Butterfly Effect. Talk to us about this. What does this mean?
Sure, thank you. So my short animated film, The Butterfly Effect, not to be confused with the Ashton Kutcher thriller of almost the same name. This was an animated short film that my team and I made as part of a Women in Animation initiative. They set up this project over the course of 1 year. And they kind of hired us into positions that maybe women might not necessarily have an easy time to get into. So I was lucky enough to be the director, and then we had women in the other 4 major roles of screenwriter, producer, art director, and animation director. Oh no, am I missing someone? Art animation
It's like the Oscars.
Anyway. Yeah,
Don't worry, they'll forgive you. They'll forgive you. They'll forgive you.
Yeah.
Okay, look, let's jump into this because I had a conversation recently with another producer, and they were investing in a lot of films, and I says, look, if you should invest in anything, I think one of the easiest things to invest in, but sometimes the more labor-intensive during coronavirus, is animation, because you could do so from different locations. So I think there needs to be more money in animation, so can you talk to me about that?
Bring it on, absolutely. I'm lucky enough to still be working in animation now. And we're all working from home. It's all just kind of remote working, which is amazing. And that's kind of how we made the film anyway. We had a team of a couple dozen people just working all over the city. I'm up there in Vancouver right now. And it was quick. It was easy. It was, you didn't really have a water cooler to stand around, but that's fine. There were still other meetings. So yeah, if anyone wants to invest in animation, like this is a prime time for it for sure.
How did you get into this world? I'm always so curious. How do you get into this world of animation? How did it happen for you?
Sure thing. I mean, to be honest, when you're a kid, you watch cartoons. I just never stopped. So I mean, I've got like all my comics behind me. Like this is. It's always what I always wanted to be in animation, and I'm lucky enough that I was able to get into animation. I was drawing flip books in elementary school. Like this is perfect. I'm so lucky that this is where I am.
Hold on, I'm going to go to widescreen mode. I want to see all the novels that you have behind you. That is a true. I love it already. Yeah, I want to see the whole. Wow, that is the collection I want to have, Stephanie.
Yeah. A lot of animation books, a lot of comics.
Stephanie, you and I need to be friends, okay? Seriously. Once coronavirus is over, I want to just come and just like sit there and read your library of books. But talk to me about this type of animation because there's so many different types out there. What drew you to this particular type?
Sure. So I'm mostly a 2D person, so kind of hand-drawn frame by frame or like digital puppets, maybe like that. And then it just worked for the timing that we had on this film. We just had 1 year, so it made more sense for us to do something simple with 2D animation. But it's actually kind of a hybrid style of 2D and 3D backgrounds that the art director put together. So it's really, really cool, really pretty, and I'm really satisfied with how it looked at the end.
Well, I can't wait to see this. The Butterfly Effect with an A, not an E. Get it right without Ashton Kutcher, but so much more. Again, Jessie didn't think she was any different from her friends until the change. Wonder what the change was.
I
You'll
think
have
it'll
to find
probably be
out.
okay, but yeah.
You'll have to
Take a
find
look
out.
at the animation program. That's where you'll find us.
There it is. The Femme Film Festival takes on all different types of projects, including animated shorts. It's really awesome. So thank you again, Stephanie, for spending time with us. And congratulations putting this great project together. Can't wait to see what's next.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, more. Going from one animation to another is Sasha Abortnet. Hello, Sasha.
Hi. Hello, can you hear me?
Sasha, you're yes, I can hear you. I hope you can hear me. The yours is an animated short, and the film begins in the spring of 1944. And you can probably bring up the rest because I understand this is also a little bit of Auschwitz. We had another film about Auschwitz, but it wasn't animated.
Oh, yeah. I don't think many of them are animated. This is a documentary about my great uncle and his experience in the Holocaust as a 12-year-old boy.
Why did you?
There's more to it, but I don't know when this is gonna air, so I don't want to spoil it. So.
My sound went off, so I'm rewinding. I was wondering, why did you decide to make it an animation film? Because it is a very, I assume it's a tough story to tell. So why animation?
A couple of reasons. I was very inspired by the Mouse comic books. I don't know if you're familiar with those. I've always loved those comic books and the way that they told those stories, but when I was interviewing my great uncle, he was such a vivid storyteller, and he really like painted a picture for me. And I also wanted to be able to really demonstrate how when he was going through this, because he was only 12 and a half years old and he's 88 right now. And I think it's very easy to forget how old someone is, how young someone is when they're that age. And when they're talking about something that happened when they were younger, I think we can sometimes assume that they're in their 20s or even a teenager, but he was really just a kid. And that was a really important part of the story for me. So to me, it was a kind of a way to time travel, and also it's kind of unusual. So I thought it would be good to do something, with a Holocaust documentary that we haven't necessarily seen before to get people's attention. And
Sasha, I'm glad you brought that up because, I mentioned earlier to the other filmmaker who did a documentary about Auschwitz, very sobering. And I said, the generation of today has been so far removed. There's this whole weird thing in the world, which is it's fake. It's not real. They made it up. And I'm like, did you not see okay, fine. We need to kind of bring this back to the minds because I feel that in some countries we're going back to that type of mentality. It's sad, but can you speak on making this available to all and doing so in a way that even the youth of this generation can understand?
Yeah, it was really important to me to do exactly that, to make it engaging and appealing for all ages and also just anybody. As horrible as this may sound, or as crass as it may sound, I'm super educated on the Holocaust. My family is Holocaust survivors. I've seen so many Holocaust documentaries. I went to a Jewish high school. Like I've seen so much, and there's so much out there that's just straight interview footage, and it's really, really great that we have that. But I think after a certain point, you have to change the way you deliver the message to keep people engaged. And I wanted to do that because it's so important to keep telling this story and to make sure not to discount those stories at all or those interviews, but I think variety is very important. And I think having different ways of telling these stories is going to make it easier and more natural and for people to stay engaged and to be interested in the topic and hopefully continue to educate people. So, and children too. I think, younger people would be more interested in something that's,
well, and
animated.
Sometimes the discussion just needs to be had, right? For those that want to get, access to be able, maybe it's the whole package. Everybody want that, but to check that out, it is entitled again.
It's called A Head Shorter.
All right, so there it is. Sasha, thank you for spending time with us, and thank you for
so much.
telling the story in such a way that I know your family members are probably very proud of. Did they see it already?
Many of them have seen it, yes.
What were their statements just before we let you go? Just what were some of their comments?
I think they're just so happy that I have it down. We're really lucky that he's my great uncle still alive, because my grandparents are not, and we didn't get all their stories down. So I feel very fortunate and grateful to have been able to do that.
Well, thank you for educating the rest of the world too, especially the younger generation. Thank you, Sasha.
Thank you so much.
Joining us right now is Alexis Rosinski. Alexis, you have a project, Nowhere to Go. This is a short where two delusioned young people connect on a level they've never experienced before. I think all young people like myself, I used to be disillusioned all the time. Is that normal?
Being a teenager? I would say so, yeah.
Yeah.
In this case, it really deals a lot with the issues of existentialism and figuring out where are you going? What is the plan after this? It's basically the idea of being lost and finding your way.
I love that subject only because I feel like that every day as of late.
I was just about to say, do we ever find a way? What do you think? I think that we find a way through connecting, and that's really what Nowhere to Go is about, in my opinion. It's about finding these connections through the people that you meet and the experiences in your life that make you who you are.
Yeah, Alexis, look, we're living in coronavirus time, so obviously that wasn't the crux of your particular subject. However, I feel as though this subject. Well, let's talk about how these two young people connect in such a way that sometimes you need a fellow friend, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that the film is especially crucial for right now. It could not be more appropriate because it really deals with finding that bond in another person and having someone to lean on during these, insane times. And yeah, I love the fact that you brought up the coronavirus because I think that it does have a lot to do with that.
How did you come up with that story? Like, what was the inspiration behind it?
Oh, it's not my story. I had the pleasure of working with Sherry Sussman and Julie Pacino. Julie Pacino directed it, and Sherry Sussman wrote it. And I worked with Kyle Kaminsky, who is the male counterpart. And it was incredible working with them. Julie and Sherry both knew exactly what they wanted. And it's just a beautifully interesting story.
Alexis, I have a question. Obviously, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say, I know you're not a teenager. However, you're a young budding filmmaker, right? And I would imagine you already have a lot of talent, and this isn't the last one I'm going to see of you, right? You got the bug, right?
Actually, I'm 17, so I guess I'm still a teenager.
Okay. You never know. Look, Alexis. Okay, so obviously you're able to kind of bring something that's a little fresher of a perspective than most. Can you talk to me about, doing film about a fellow teenager that might be different than, like, I don't know, like a person like myself that says, "Hey, I think this is a great story about teenagers," because it's a different time that we live in.
Yeah, it definitely is. So as a filmmaker, it's really amazing to observe the way that people are reacting to situations like right now. And I'm really drawing upon those ideas of isolation and loneliness in the way that I'm screenwriting and developing certain projects. Right now, I'm developing my first feature film called Nightly Isle. And that whole subject deals with fear of loneliness and the need for independence, and figuring out if that's really the goal here, or if it is more about finding someone and connecting with them.
Can I throw something out there just really quick
Please.
into your sphere of influence there? I feel that we all come to this earth in order to help one another out. And for those that want to kind of do it alone, I have no problem with that, like being okay with being alone. But at a time like this, we need to have each other's back. And when like 5 other people have your back, even if just one of them has your back and the other 3 kind of turn their back on you during coronavirus, if you know what I mean, there's a lot of people facing that right now. And I think we need more content that reminds us that the human interaction shouldn't be apart, but instead should be closer together, because this is the war we're fighting on this earth. Unfortunately, we're trying to like get along, but we're just getting pushed farther away. And I just need a movie that kind of puts us all together so we all make sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I love contrasting those two elements of, that feeling like you have to be independent to prove yourself, as opposed to just connecting with people and bonding and creating a family and a community that you can feel safe and supported with, because I think that's where your strength really lies.
It does. All right. Carrie says, brilliant young woman. Alexis, we love you. And you know what, Alexis? You got our heart. So don't damage it, okay?
I'll try not to.
Keep inspiring other people to care about one another. We got too much hate in this world. We need more. What are we going to call it? What should we call it, Paulina?
Love. We call it love, because this is
coming together.
The world. Love.
Yeah. So keep inspiring, okay, Alexis? You never know what youth you're also inspiring next in line. So, have a whole team that you could, mentor, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. And Nowhere to Go is premiering October 15th at 5 p.m. Pacific time. And there's going to be a Q&A following that with me, Sherry Sussman, Julie Pacino, Aaron Meinhardt, Kyle Kaminsky, and it's hosted by Lara Clear.
Fantastic. All right, Alexis. Thank you for lending your talent to the La Femme Film Festival. Don't make it your last, okay?
Oh, will not. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Okay, more right after this. Joining us right now is Nora Mariana, her film Alina. Nora, this is a very important subject, and Nazis. Can we just get rid of them, or do we? Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, let's get rid of them. I'm down.
Seriously, I feel like the mentality's kind of been like reinvigorated as of late. But let's talk about your project here.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously a short, but a very impactful short. Let's talk about the synopsis of it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's about a girl gang in the Warsaw Ghetto who are trying to smuggle their friend's 3-month-old baby to safety before the Nazis take her to a concentration camp.
Got it. Okay, so go ahead, Paulina. I know you got a question.
Real life story? Is it based on a true story that is? Because I feel like there's something. It's close to your heart, right? So if you could tell us a little more about that.
Sure. It's a composite of many stories. Unfortunately, this was a big issue in the Warsaw Ghetto. A lot of children and babies even were taken from their parents. And there were a lot of heroic women, Jewish and Catholic, who came together to do the best they could to save the kids from the Nazis. So it was inspired by those heroic women. Yeah.
Look, Alina, again, it's premiering this week. You could get your tickets right there on demand and/or watch it. Is there going to be a Q&A that we need to be aware of as well?
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Okay, we need to create one because I got questions. Okay, so let me ask you this question then. Obviously, it deals with a very important subject, and in some ways, I hate to draw a parallel to today's world, but can you speak to me why this is timely even now, even though it was, it was a while back, but like I said, still very prevalent, this idea of superiority over another race?
Yeah, unfortunately, we're in a time where there's a rise in white supremacy and anti-Semitism and racism. So it's sadly becoming increasingly timely in this climate. I wish it wasn't the case. I always say, like, I wish this was a story that had no relevance to the world we live in, but sadly, it has extreme relevance. Yeah.
Yeah, Nora, look, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for bringing this awareness back. Again, I think we have a running theme this year. We have a lot more like Auschwitz and Nazi, and it's very interesting. Sometimes it's a telling tale of what's in the hemisphere of the galaxy, right? Our universe. Sometimes these stories need to be told a little bit more at a time where we need more positivity and less just fear-mongering. Does that make sense?
Definitely. No, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we can all find inspiration in the actions of those brave women and maybe add that to our life.
Exactly. Yeah. What we particularly loved about researching these women was that, they really were regular people, teachers, social workers, grandmas, and they were able to save thousands of kids collectively. So it's very inspiring that like regular people can really make the impossible happen, even in really dark moments like that. So
yeah, I say congratulations on this short. Is there a feature around the corner?
We hope so. Yeah, we'd love to do a feature. There's a lot more to that story that we'd like to tell.
Like what?
We have to see the feature, right?
I don't know. I think if there's a budding investor there, they need to hear a little bit more on what the next one's going to be about. At least a little teaser.
Well, I would say that, the short film really only provides a glimpse into these women's lives. You really just see a portion of one mission with one baby. And we would definitely want to expand and really show how that network of women operated as a collective unit.
Got it. Okay. And just out of curiosity, if you had like some actors like by choice that, because there's a lot of people looking for work right now, I'm just saying, who would you have starring in this?
Oh, that's a really good question. Somebody who has a connection to the material, honestly. My dream would be like a Natalie Portman, like if it was like but honestly, anybody who has a connection to the material and is a good actor. That's
Right.
that's good enough for me.
Done. Let's make it happen. Look, La Femme Film Festival starts dreams and finishes them right here. I'm just saying, Leslie Lapage knows how to make dreams come true. Okay. There's also a big panel fest that I know a lot of people could learn a lot of stuff from. I don't know. Is this your first La Femme?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Learn from those that have gone ahead of you and learn to accept what I call inspiration from those that are doing the fine fight. You get where I'm going with that?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right, Nora, thank you very much for spending time with us here on the La Femme Film Festival Virtual Edition 2020. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Hi, Emma.
Hi,
How
how
are
are
you?
you?
Welcome to La Femme. How are you doing?
Very well. Thank you very much.
Great. Well, it's a pleasure having you. Now, please tell us about Two Worlds, Not One.
Well, Two Worlds Not One is really about what a lot of people see and feel all the time, but don't make real from a very young age. And then as we get older, we've sort of closed down that sense that we've had of other things that we might see or feel in our days, and it can be an everyday situation. And so we have this character called Toby who starts to see and feel these things again, and it's his experience with what he sees and how he feels and how he really deals with that.
So do you think that happens maybe as he's growing?
Yeah, it's sort of an interesting thing because he has a very, you could say, average, everyday kind of lifestyle. There's nothing outlandish in what he does with work, his family, and yet he starts to notice these things, and it's almost like, igniting those feelings from when he was much younger. So, and then it's Two Worlds Not One is the first of a trilogy of 3 short films, and so as the short films go through it sort of tells a bit more of his story and explains a little bit more. So this first one is initially setting up basically that he does start to see these things, and the audience starts to go, well, what is that? Is that real or not real? And I'm sure that there's a lot of people that do have a similar kind of thing, that they might see something or feel something, and not sure if it's actually something that's real or not.
Yeah, it seems like COVID kind of makes us feel that way right now too, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, are you going to have a screening with Q&As?
Yeah, so there's a screening with Q&As this Thursday night at 8 p.m.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you, Emma. And anything else that you want to add about the movie?
No, I mean, I'm looking forward to hearing what people feel and their response to the film in general. So that's why it'd be great to do the Q&A and get a sense of where everyone is, because it's only just recently been released, so it's very early stages.
Perfect. Well, we look forward to seeing you. Thank you so much, Emma.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Nice. Hi, Jane.
Hi, Martha. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good.
Hanging in there, right?
Yeah.
So please tell me about your documentary. I'm really glad that you're bringing light to a very important issue right now. So
yeah,
tell us about Countdown to Zero.
Countdown to Year Zero is about the fact that animal agriculture, in other words, the consumption of meat and the breast milk of cows, is destroying our planet. It is the leading cause of climate change, and it is the leading cause of deforestation. The Amazon's on fire, the Pantanal in Brazil as well, the world's largest wetlands, on fire to create cattle grazing land and to grow crops to feed farm animals. It's the leading cause of world hunger. It's the leading cause of wildlife extinction. It's the leading cause of human disease. Processed meat is cancer causing, and heart disease kills 1 out of every 4 people prior to COVID. And COVID is a zoonotic disease, jumped from animals to humans, and was first spotted in a slaughter market in China. And SARS was first spotted in a slaughter market in China too, in a different province. So for all these reasons and many more, obviously animal cruelty, we have to move away from animal agriculture. So Countdown to Year Zero basically says we have to transition to a plant-based world by 2026, or there will be no wildlife vertebrates left, with the exception of maybe squirrels and rats. But we're decimating all the wildlife to either grow crops to feed farm animals or to create grazing land for cattle. And in fact, if you want to look at just the obvious facts, we're 7.8 billion human beings currently. Okay. We forcibly impregnate. Ladies, that's called rape. There's no making love on these factory farms. We forcibly impregnate, rape 70 billion animals into existence every year that are slaughtered. Cows, pigs, chickens, turkeys, goats, and lambs. That does not include fish. If you include fish, it's in the trillions. So we are essentially all serial killers. Those of us who eat animals will eat at least 10,000 animals in the course of our life. So, you've been talking about the Holocaust, and I know that obviously people are very sensitive about that phrase. And I loved hearing the other filmmakers talk about that horror. This is a horror of a different nature. This is a mass, mind-boggling killing of animals at a time when alternatives have been created that taste just like meat, that taste just like dairy. So essentially unnecessary. And the last thing I'll say is we profile the work of Dr. Sailesh Rao, who's a Stanford PhD engineer systems analyst who has created a plan to create a vegan world by 2026. And he says, we know why we have to do it. We just need to know how we have to do it. And so he's gathering teams of people together, and we document all this in the film to answer the questions that need to be answered in order to create a blueprint for a plant-based world. And if the word vegan scares you, or you've been subject to the demonization of that world, you can call it a word, you can call it plant-based, you can call it whatever you want to call it. We're just trying to convince people that it's not in their self-interest to eat animals. And by the way, 99.9% of the people who eat animals would not be able to kill them themselves. In fact, there's a whole new advertising campaign in Israel right now where people say, I want fresh meat, and they bring out a lamb and everybody freaks out. Yes. And so it's real moral cowardice to say, well, ahimsa, yoga, I'm a loving person, but here, I'm going to hire this poor immigrant who has no choice about what job he or she can have. And they're going to go in there. Not only are they going to kill animals and get PTSD, psychological problems, addiction, alcoholism, depression, carpal tunnel syndrome, and a whole bunch of other terrible things, but now they're getting COVID. They're dying of COVID. Slaughterhouses are hotbeds of COVID. So when you eat an animal or the breast milk of another species, you are potentially co-signing the death of a human being. You always were, because the food kills in so many ways. It kills children who are hungry because animals are eating most of the food.
Now, Jane, where can we find your screening? What day can we find it? Are you going to be doing any screenings?
I wish I knew. It is available on Amazon Prime if you want to see it there. I would love to have it screened. I hope it's screened. I don't have the exact date and time.
Okay.
But
Well,
I have
thank
to
you so
tell
much.
I have
Thank
to tell you, for those who are maybe whoever's watching, it's the most important issue of our time, because if we hit 2026 and we haven't transitioned and all the wildlife is wiped out, which it's really on track to do it, we're going to have an ecological apocalypse.
Yes.
All these other issues, really, if planet Earth is uninhabitable because it's too hot,
we're done.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Jane. And I appreciate this because I think it's very, very important. And it's an issue that we need to focus on and start making changes immediately. Yesterday. So
Yes.
thank you
So
so
you're
much.
vegan.
Yes.
Fabulous.
Thank you so much, Jane. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Bye.
Hi, Julia.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
It's a pleasure having you.
Yeah. Thank you.
So please tell us about Brothers.
Yes. So Brothers is a short film. It's based on a true story. It's a film about grief. It takes place in sort of two separate time periods, I guess, about 5 years apart. And the first is two brothers trying to come to terms with the death of their father. And then we fast forward in time, and it's the mother and one of the brothers. And you then realize that the other brother has passed away. And so it's really a story of how we move on and deal with grief and what we remember about people. And I talk a lot in the film about essence and sort of what essence someone brings with them,
Absolutely.
Even after they die.
And it stays with you. You know, the memory, their essence just remains with you. So what made you choose this topic for your film?
So it is based on a true story. It's about my aunt and cousin. And it was really just wanting to understand what they were going through, while also dealing with my own grief about the situation. And I think it's therapeutic. I think art for me has always been about understanding myself through other people's stories. And I think it's very telling when you see a film and you feel it too. And that's me on screen.
Yes.
I think what was so amazing about this film is almost everyone who I approached to work on it said that, even from the script level. Oh, I have this connection to this, or I imagined this person.
Yeah.
And that's how I connected it. And that was such a beautiful way to get people involved, because it really felt like a passion project for everyone, or a personal project.
Yes, it's really neat that it has that special connection, that because most of us don't know how to deal with loss. So I think, as you said, with art, I think that's an excellent way for us to move forward. And like you say, even if their essence remains with us, but the loss we can work on that little by little with art.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really what I was trying to do with it. And I hope that's what people get from it and can relate to it, even if it's in a sad way.
Yes. But in a good way too.
But in a good way. Yeah, I think
absolutely
therapeutic for sure.
Now, are you going to be having a screening, Q&As?
Yes, I will.
What day?
So the 17th, Saturday at 4 p.m. West Coast time. I'm in the East Coast, so 7 p.m.
Oh,
here.
nice.
And it'll just be me for the Q&A, but I'm really excited to talk about it and see people's reactions and how they feel about it. So
awesome. Well, thank you, Julia, for sharing your time with us.
Thank
and
you.
we look forward to watching your film.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hi, Tracy.
Hi, Martha. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Great. I'm good. Thanks.
Okay, so I'm really excited about There She Is. Tell us all about it.
There She Is a feature which is about the debate between feminists, the Me Too movement, and women and people in drag pageants. It's a debate between the two. Why do you compete? Should you compete? Is it wrong to compete? So it's a debate about that with pageantry.
Now, what made you write about pageantry?
Well, it's interesting. I knew nothing about pageantry prior to shooting the film. My husband and I had gone to, a friend of ours was competing in a Mrs. Pennsylvania pageant. And the entire time that we sat through this whole pageant, we're thinking, this is wild. I mean, not judging them, but just, oh my gosh, what goes on behind the scenes? Or how do these women get prepared? Where does the money come from? How much does it cost? All these questions arose from our time of watching her compete. And then it just grew from there. And because I've always been curious about the children's pageants, different, and are there different types of pageants? So that's why I expanded it beyond Miss USA, Miss America. And I went to show that there are other types of pageants that represent different, disabilities, different races. So that's how it took me in that direction.
So what did you learn from pageantry?
I learned that there are women who compete and they're steadfast in their belief that this is what I want to do. I don't care what anybody thinks about it. I don't care what people think that is wrong about it. This is what I'm going to do. And they compete to win. And there are women, and it's not fair to call them this, but they're like, I call them serial competitors. And that's not what I mean by that. They continue to compete because if I don't win this pageant, I'll go to that organization. I'm going to compete there, or I'll keep continuing to compete in this organization until I get that crown. And that's what they choose to do. And on the other side, the feminists basically feel this is nuts. It's objectifying beauty. Why are you being not judged on skill or intelligence? You're being judged on how pretty you are, how thin you are, how well you walk in your gown. So I had the balance of the two sides, and it was interesting. It was interesting to see.
So, pageantry has a lot of negative connotations, as you said. The feminists say, well, why do we have to judge you based on your beauty? So what would you say about that?
I don't want to judge. I'm leaning more in the camp of it. I would rather be, for myself. Okay, I'm only going to speak for myself. I'd rather be judged on skill, on talent, on character. I don't want to be looks to me. We're women. We all want to look nice. We all want our hair to be beautiful, whatever. But I don't want to be judged in that way. So that to me, I struggled at times in interviews because I kept saying, I would ask, why are you doing this? Because I couldn't understand it. And they said, it empowers me. It empowers me to for whatever. Everybody had a different reason. So that was the only thing I struggled with, because I myself, for me, it wouldn't work for me to be judged on just beauty. So that's
yeah, I guess some of us feel empowered in different ways. And I guess for women who are in pageants, that's many times how they feel empowered. Right. So that's quite all right.
No, it is. And one of the women I interviewed said, it's their thing. She goes, you make documentaries and we like pageants. And she's absolutely right. So if what empowers you, if you feel empowered by doing this, then by all means, go do it.
Go do it. Absolutely. Yeah. So Tracy, are you going to have a screening, any Q&As at Femme?
I'm not having there is a screening on Saturday at 7:30. I won't be doing the Q&A because something has come up where I'm unable to be around for that, but it will be on Amazon Prime. Awesome. Screening, I'd say in about a month, you'll be able to see it, or maybe a little less than a month on Amazon Prime.
Perfect. Well, Tracy, thank you so much for joining us, and we really appreciate your time. Have a great night.
Thank you, Martha. You too. Take care.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You as well.
Bye-bye.
Hi, ladies.
Hi.
How are y'all doing?
We are great. A little bit tired because in Italy it's 5 a.m. But
are you in Italy? Oh my goodness.
We are Italian, so we'll be here.
I'm so jealous.
What are you saying? Come on, I'm here in New York.
I love Italy. I love Italy.
We too. It's an amazing city.
Now, tell us about I Bring My Own Chair.
So I'm going to start. The script for I Bring My Own Chair, the original title, because it's an Italian movie, it's Io la sedia me la porto da casa, is inspired by a short autobiographic story published by Stefania Majorano. She was a writer and an artist originally from Calabria, which is the place where I was born. Stefania had a poliomyelitis, a disease which caused a motor impairment, restricting her on a wheelchair. Living with the consequence of polio affected her life, but her positive attitude and mental strength pushed Stefania to maximize her potential, turning often limits into, let's say, opportunities. In the short, I didn't focus the attention on disability. I wanted to focus the attention on the human being relationship, on the life as much as is possible, on the normality of a life with a disability. That's it.
Wow. Talk about empowerment. So that's basically what it means, right? Bring your own chair. Is that what you meant with the title? She brings her own chair everywhere?
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah. Of course, yeah, of course.
Now, the film was absolutely gorgeous. So did you shoot that in Italy?
Yeah, we shot in Calabria, 4 days straight, and in the south of Italy, in this amazing place on the Ionic coast. Yeah, that's the land where I was born. That's the land where everything happened because, as I said, it's inspired from a true story, an autobiographical story published by Stefania Majorana. She was my mother. And yeah, so she taught me how to face life no matter what. And I wanted to share this message, which is a very important message with the world. And I wanted to make her immortal with my father, yes. And that movie is in her memory.
That's absolutely beautiful. And it shows, like I said, empowerment. So I guess your mom empowered you and now you've immortalized her.
Oh, totally. And I'm so happy that Ornella is here, as you can notice, with the main actress. And I'm very grateful for her to for her talent, that she put in the character.
Absolutely. And I think you guys put in a lot of work, all of you guys together. So what was it like working with Aurora?
Oh, it was amazing because the character, the Stefania character was so interesting. Not only because she really existed and because she was her mother, but also because she was affected by this particular illness. But I tried to discover the way to do simple things that we every day do in a new way.
And we take for granted, right?
Yeah, it was the her way to do the things.
Amazing.
It
Well,
was,
ladies,
wonderful, wonderful study and work.
awesome. Well, thank you so much. Now, will you be having a screening, any Q&As? Please tell us all about it.
Yes, we will have a public screening on CL Live on the 15th of October, so stay tuned. It will start at 9 p.m. GMT +2, which is for me to understand, all the time.
Yes.
New York and LA, guys, how we made it.
Awesome.
And we will screen the short movie, but there will be also the Q&A, and I invited to join me also the moderator. She is a friend of mine, an actress based in London and a script writer.
Wow.
And also Ornella, the main actress, and the editor from Argentina, Gisela.
Wow. All over the world.
And the visual artist, always from Italy, Antonella Martino. So we will be 5 beautiful ladies,
yes,
chatting.
More empowerment.
Totally ready for the Q&A. We can't wait for the audience to join us. And thank you for this amazing opportunity, guys.
Thank you for joining us, Aurora and Ornella. We really appreciate it, and enjoy Italy for me. I'm so jealous.
Don't be. Buy a ticket and come.
We can't.
I know.
If I could, I would have left already.
We will. Hopefully, we all will be able to travel and enjoy
pretty soon.
Our companies soon.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, ladies, and have a great night or day in Italy.
Almost there.
Yes.
Almost there.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.
I can't hear anything. I can't hear anything.
Can you hear me now?
T'entends, Cyrielle? Hello. Hi.
Can you hear me now? Okay, okay. This is a cell phone commercial. Here we go. Look, Lily and Cyrielle, obviously you two are part of this project, and I understand it's nice to be, joined by a lot of people. I need you to, Cyrielle, take off your mute button because we can't unmute you because you muted yourself by accident. But Lily, let's start with you. Lily, obviously this project, Leo, talk to me about it.
Yes. Well, it's a movie who was directed and written by Fabienne Maé, who was meant to be here, but she's not. Because it is 5:30 here in Paris.
Wow, we went from Italy to Paris. I'm so sorry, but thank you for making it like your first choice. I apologize.
Yeah, no problem. And so it's a movie about 3 sisters who have the same mother but not the same father. And the mother is sick, and I play Leo. I'm the youngest sister. I look after my mother. And every Sunday night, they all have a dinner together, the 3 sisters. And on that particular night, they will discover a secret about the mother, which we think is about the mother. But I can't tell more.
That's okay. I get it. Cliffhanger. I get it. Okay. You got to tune in, right? Suriel over there. I apologize. It's probably not how you say your name. Can you say your name the way it's meant to be
It's like
heard?
the breakfast, actually.
I'm sorry?
It's like the breakfast.
Oh, cereal.
Cereal. Exactly.
Even better. Okay. So, you know, I know. I feel bad because it's late here, but early there. I don't know which I prefer. Are you guys morning people or late people?
Well, I'm usually late people. But
I'm
actually,
usually an early people, but that's very early this morning.
Well, and in film business, though, you don't get any sleep anyway, right? So you're kind of used to it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, the time schedule changes all the time, so it's fine.
Yeah, but we have hair and makeup artists for us in the morning.
I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. I'm all El
morning.
Natural myself. I'm just saying. Look, let's talk about the world of filmmaking and women in film. Obviously, being part of La Femme Film Festival. Is this your first year ever being a part of the entire festival?
Yeah,
Yes, absolutely. This is the first year in this festival, and this is the first year in festival at all for the movie Leo.
Oh, well then we
adventure. Yeah.
then we are super honored to be your first. Look, I understand again. Filmmaking is how can I say it? There is a portion of filmmaking that is quite raw, and then there's a part that's put together in such a beautiful way, a very like almost a cinematic. And your film is closer to the art portion of that. Is that true?
Well, I think that's what Fabienne, the director, wanted to do. She wanted to work a lot with the person who did the light. I don't know how you call it in English.
The cinematographer.
Cinematographer, yeah, exactly. So that was something that she worked a lot before, and we rehearsed a lot with the two other actresses too, which I guess we can feel it in the movie because we worked for a few months before on the text, rewriting it each time, and so that was a pleasure for us as an actor because there's less and less money on projects, so usually we've got less time to rehearse. And this time we took the time to rehearse. It was very important.
Well, I want to say thank you for spending the time, even though sometimes it's a thankless job sometimes, isn't it? Especially when you're in independent filmmaking. What's your advice to those that are getting like both feet into the independent film world?
Actually, what we did with this project was exactly what I think people should do in the independent industry. It's gather people you trust, try to create an energy, a synergy between the people, as we did, between the techniques and the actors. And we rehearsed, as Lily said, we rehearsed a lot. So we created like a real team, like a theater team. We work as a theater team. So without a lot of money, we were able to make a real movie with real assets for us, because we create that team really, really close, months previous the project.
Got it. Well, I want to say thank you for getting up super early. You're a better person than I am, seriously. I can't wait to sleep in tomorrow. And I got a morning show, so that says a lot.
All night long, so it's fine.
Yeah. But you know what? Thank you for keeping it with us. Obviously, the film festival cannot be without you guys because La Femme, right? I mean, just, you see where we got the inspiration. Not me, but, Leslie Lepage. It's from your part of the world. I'm just saying. Did nobody get that? Am I the only one? Okay, it's early in the morning. Get your cereal on.
But that means
cereal.
you have to win a prize if it's on our side of the continent.
Well, hey, you know what?
It's late us.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you so very much. We're going to tune in, get our tickets right here, right now. Thank you for lending your voices to the film world. We need more of it, okay?
Thank you very much.
Joining us right now is Gretel Claggett. Gretel, your project here, Flip the Switch. I'm just going to say right now, there's a couple times I've felt like this. Can you talk about the description? Because, no truth to the rumor, I did a little bit of sales back in the day.
Ah, yes, as did I, and that's part of that was part of the consciousness, Aaron, that came into making the film. You know, a number of years ago, I was a woman in a predominantly male sales force. I was not selling storm doors door to door like Bonnie Blue, the protagonist. I was selling incentives to Fortune 500 companies. But yeah, you know, I think that it's interesting. Flip the switch is a phrase that Flip Smith, with a Y, brilliantly played, I think, by Stephen Plunkett, says, you know, to his minions. And when we kind of enter the film, it is like this cult-like experience, you know, where everyone is saying, flip the switch, flip the switch. And it's fascinating because today we see a lot of that in America and on the world stage. You know, there are certain leaders who are very good at banding about empty slogans or slogans that the mass
borrowed slogans. Borrowed.
Yeah.
You know, Reagan did "Make America Great Again." Trump didn't even come up with that. I'm sorry if you love Trump, by the way. Sorry.
Oh my God. Well, if you watch the film, I think you would know the answer to that question. But
so we agree.
Yes,
or do we agree to disagree? I think we need to do more of agreeing to disagree and just stay friends, right? No matter who's talking about who.
I totally agree with that, Aaron. And I really try to take a neutral position, especially as a storyteller, because I think it's very important that we show all sides of humanity. And I personally believe that all of us have an inner Trump. As much as we don't want to admit that or look at it, we all have these different aspects that are playing out, you know, that are mirroring back to us. And I don't think that we'll find, you know, there's so much decisiveness and, you know, sorry, it's midnight here and in New York City. So my words,
You're doing great. You're doing better than me.
Yeah, you've been at it for a while.
It's an all-day event. But look, I want to talk about this because I've been on the flip side of this because this is a door-to-door saleswoman caught up in the tornado of her boss's, I think it's cultish personality, which unleashes a storm of violence when she realizes that she and her customers have been duped. I will tell you, that is my worst nightmare. Everything I ever project here on the morning show on ABC News Radio, that's a plug for me. You know, I make sure to try and or buy myself before I feature it. But I'm going to tell you right now, if I found that to be the case, I mean, I don't know what kind of violence I would resort to because I'd still want to stay on the air. I'm just saying.
Well, you know, I think that, you know, the film itself, the story, I created as an allegory because I think that we're all at this point of having to make moral decisions. And sometimes it's very tough when our job, when our paycheck is on the line. What do we do? And we can say, oh, well, I would never do this or I would never do that. But, you know, the story and Bonnie Blue, the protagonist that's played by the fabulously funny and fierce Mary Birdsong, really there's a literal storm that's coming and there's a metaphorical storm, and she's faced with a character test, which I think is very relevant for today because I believe that each and every one of us, especially in this country, are being faced with a test. We have to not only get out and vote, but we have to vote by our actions every day, by standing up for what's right.
And whatever happens, we got to get along at the end of the day. Seriously. I mean, I don't know how many friends I've lost, not out of choice, but just out of just sheer stupidity. I'm sorry I said it. Okay, anyway. Look,
well, I think that that's where storytelling and where art can come in and start a dialogue. You know, it's not, you're absolutely right. We have to find a way. We have to find a way to understand each other's consciousness, no matter how different. We have to find a way to laugh at ourselves. We have to find, and which there is, I purposely made this to grapple with these big issues, but infused it with satire. And I hope that we can. I hope we can turn this around. I do fiercely believe that storytelling will make a difference. And, I'm really excited to be a part of La Femme and with all of the great filmmakers who are, whether it's through documentary or narrative storytelling, are grappling with important issues, are bringing things to light, especially female filmmakers and creators, who do have a different lens. And that too, I'm all for men and women working together,
Hey, that's what makes the world go round, okay?
Difference.
Yeah, seriously, both need each other. They really do. Okay, Gretel, thank you so very much for spending time with us here on the La Femme Film Festival Virtual Edition Filmmaker Extravaganza. For those that want to go and subscribe and get to see your particular short film, look, I'd love it to be a feature. Can we make that happen?
Well, it's funny you should say that. There is a longer version of it that's a pilot called Storm Chaser. So I actually cut this from a roughly 30-minute piece down to less than 15 minutes, which was very fascinating to do.
Director's cut, huh? I get where you're going with this.
And
all right.
so, yes, and there are ideas for expansion as well.
Even better. I can't wait. I can't wait to see that, but I can't wait to see it at the La Femme Film Festival 2020, which is where it's broadcasting around the world. Tell everybody. We got Paris in the house. We got France in the house. We got New York in the house. We got the world just keeps revolving. And
Greenwich Village.
Yeah, we're waking them up. Seriously. India, are they in that house? Yeah, I think they are. It's their time zone. Okay, thank you very much, Gretel, for spending time with us.
Thanks, Aaron. Great to virtual.
Joining us right now is Ellie Stern. Ellie,
Hi.
Animated short. I'm so happy to hear all the animateds are in the house.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, what happened with the did you get an inspiration by Oscar the Grouch? Because he knew garbage, and I understand this particular story talks about a fish and a just can you fill in the details?
Definitely an interesting interpretation. Basically, my film is a surreal stop motion short about a homeless woman who becomes pregnant with a fish, and kind of the bridge between motherhood that connects her to, it takes place in a very neglected, dirty city filled with garbage. And then she becomes mysteriously pregnant with this fish. And I think that kind of bridges the gap between like that alienated feeling. So yeah, there's a lot of garbage in the film. Oscar the Grouch wasn't my inspiration, but that's definitely valid.
I don't know. Might have stuck in your cerebral cortex over there. Look, animation is near and dear to my heart. How long did this take to make? Because usually an animated short still takes a lot of time.
Yeah, it was definitely a tedious process. From the very, very beginning of pre-production brainstorming until the very end, it took about 10 months. The animation took about 2 months, and then 4 months for the kind of fabrication, pre-production aspect. And then post-production was actually completed in quarantine. It was right when COVID became a thing in the world. So it was very stressful. It was my BFA thesis film. So I had to evacuate campus, fly back home to Toronto, and complete all of that in quarantine. So it was definitely, but I think it kind of goes with the theme, that chaotic feeling. It was kind of fitting for the times.
Well, and at least you're safe, right? Okay, so let me ask you something. If budget was not an issue, what would be your next film?
Good question. I mean, I love stop motion. It's my favorite medium to animate with, and I definitely have fallen in love with it over the years. And stop motion can definitely be expensive with all the materials. I really enjoyed kind of focusing on that big city aspect in this. So I think if I had the biggest budget in the world, maybe I would kind of expand on that, make a bigger city. I've only ever lived in big cities, so I've kind of grown up in that atmosphere. So that's something I definitely like to focus on in my art. And yeah, I think money would help.
Because I don't think people understand the stop motion portion of it. I mean, there are so many minute little movements.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wondered if you move it too far, do you have to go, oh no, I got to do the whole scene again? I don't know.
Oh yeah. There's many moments like that. You just, the table shakes, everything goes down. You have to completely start over. You have to be very, very careful.
I'm glad you don't live here in California where there's earthquakes every.
Oh,
wait,
yeah.
where do you live again?
Vancouver. Well, there's earthquakes here too, or
Yeah,
there's the big
don't
one
move
which
here.
could destroy the world.
I can see you going, oh, I'll get it in the morning. Then all of a sudden, earthquake. And we just had like a 4.8 or felt like an 8-pointer.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, it wasn't cool. Especially when you're near the epicenter. Hello.
I'm
Okay,
glad
but
you're
Ellie.
safe.
Yeah, thank you. Ellie, obviously a lot of people are wondering right now, with coronavirus, why should they invest more in animated features? Because I think the kids of today really need more fun than they're having right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think there's so many opportunities in animation. You can really create any world you want. And I think in COVID times, specifically live action, it's harder to happen because, crowd scenes are completely out the window at this time. And animation, I mean, you can do it anywhere. You could do remotely. Stop motion's a bit more complicated if you want a bigger team because you kind of have to be in the studio working. But yeah, I mean, I think animation in general, there's just so many opportunities to do something completely fantastic and unrealistic. And yeah, I just think there's endless possibilities.
I think there's a this just popped into my head, so I'm going to say, I've always learned when things pop in your head, sometimes there's a reason for it. I think it'd be kind of cool to take about like 50 different people that have never done stop animation. You be the leader and you kind of create this like revolving situation so that those that have to be made to stay at home can actually like do it. You could do like a little course together and be like, okay,
I would
guys,
love
like,
that.
right? I mean, and kind of like a music video montage, but stop, and I think people, like, once they start getting into that, then you can, like, get them for a future project on, like, the third one that you do, and then you're like, boom, you're like, got your whole team ready to go, and then, no matter what money comes in, you're always ready to go with your production people, right? What do you think?
That's I mean, I think, like, stop motion's not everyone's cup of tea in the animation world, but I do think it's probably one of the easier methods of animation to learn if you know nothing about it. Like, you don't have to learn programs, you don't have to like draw all day, you just kind of move objects and take pictures. So yeah, I think anyone could do it if they want to, definitely.
Okay. Ellie, I'll send you the commission check when you get that thing.
All right,
okay?
great.
All right, okay, Ellie, thank you very much for spending
so
time
much.
with us at the La Femme Film Festival. Seriously, people, it's animated flicks. These are going to be the next big thing, I guarantee you. Remember when there was the writer's strike and then all of the, what was it? The, what do they call it? Reality shows popped up.
Right.
I think we need
reality animation shows.
Well, animation lasts forever, Ellie. So, it's like forever and a day. So anyway. All right.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ellie. Okay, more on the La Femme Film Festival 2020.
Okay.
Joining us right now, I've been waiting for you all for the last 8 hours. Seriously, Angela. And we got Angela Penaglia, Life in Synchro. And this is something that a lot of people, including myself, was unaware of. But this is synchronized skating to the next, nth degree. It needs to be an Olympic sport. How come it's not?
You know why? Because it's a mostly female-dominated sport. I hate to say that, but I think that's what it is. But let me tell you, like many people, I did not know it existed. And I think it's because people have the kind of a preconceived notion. You think you know what figure skating is and add the word synchronized before it. And, I really dismissed it. I'm a Miami girl, Latina. I don't do winter sports. I moved to DC. I met this friend of mine, Nicole, who was a synchronized skater. And I swear to God, for years, she would say, Angela, I'm doing an exhibition. I'm a synchronized skater. I'm a national champion. And I didn't care, Aaron. I literally dismissed it. And I feel so bad saying that now because, now I'm really in it. And I'm like, my God, I was such a jerk.
I saw the trailer to this. I haven't seen the full feature of this, okay? And again, for those of you tuning in, the name of it is Life in Synchro. And again, I love the fact that it's just out there. Life in Synchro what, right? And I understand that there were some ones that, I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of youthful-ish, but I'm not sure I would want to take to the world of figure skating, let alone synchronized skating, which I understand you got to move in complete harmony. And I understand there's a couple of real cool featured people, which are just a tad bit older than me, that took this on full force. Is that right?
Yeah, and it's really not what you would expect either, right? Which is what I really enjoyed about making this film. You know, when I set out to do it, I thought it was going to be a traditional sports documentary. I'm going to follow a season. We're going to go to competitions. Someone's going to win, and that's the kind of the arc of Emily, which is one of the main characters. She's my young, really competitive skater. But as I was doing that, I found, my God, there's like people of all ages doing this, little kids to women who are even older than Heidi and Peggy that you see. And really, I think that's what makes the sport unique, is you don't have to age out of it. You know, a lot of us, we think about doing competitive sports, you know, you reach the highest level and then you're done. But these are people and women who are making, like, you know, it's really hard to make a career out of it. And that's part of the problem, right? That's why Emily herself, my main character, kind of has to leave the sport, because how can you financially sustain yourself when you're not at the Olympic level, right? But yeah, Heidi from the Down East, there's a bunch of older ladies just having fun and doing it for the love of it and the community, which was amazing.
Well, and I'm so glad, again, that everybody gets to do this, because it is a beautiful looking sport. I already am a fan whenever they have the Winter Olympics of just the couples, right? I get kind of bored with the singles, not gonna lie, but there's just something so harmonic between the two, and I never want to see them like throw them up in the air and then drop them by accident. But my point is this, right? Nobody wants to see that, really. But my point is this: having these young women and even blossom into, you know, the elderly women, I think is something that we need to see more of, and I'm wondering why it's not a televised event, and it definitely needs to be, and I think this documentary is going to help change that.
You know, I think the issue is what comes first. Do you know about synchronized skating and they televise it, or do you televise it and then create a following around it, right? And that is the question. I think once
it's not hard. It's called live streaming. I mean, we could do it right here, right now. I mean, just put me with them, and we'll make it a massive, phenomenal online event that people are going to want to watch. Trust me, people need it.
Absolutely. I think, you know, that's what's really unique about synchronized skating, is in what other sport is it not about one person? There's no jersey saying number 25. You're not the pitcher. You're not the point guard. It's literally about 16 people moving in unison. And imagine if we lived life like these women skate, and there are young men too, so I don't want to exclude my young men. But like, my God, that's what we need more in this world, right? More collective action.
I think it'd be cool to see like couples skating, like 3 different couples all skating in unison. I don't know. I'm a romantic. Yeah, I think I saw too many romance films where they actually they meet on the ice skating rink, right? It's a place that, I don't know, it's just something so beautiful.
It is. It's not so easy though. You know, and there is a fall sequence in the movie, and I wish I was a skater, because I think if I had been skating, I would have really captured it. Because the other thing that I tried to do really well, 16 people moving across the ice at the same time is hard to film, and it's hard to get the immediacy, like how fast they're moving. So if you have a chance, this year's kind of weird with the season, if you have synchronized skating nearby, go see it in person, because it's 10 times better in person.
Well, I love the competition that they have, what is it? Rah, rah, rah. You know, they do that, right? I'm just saying, how come we can't start the competition like that? I think a lot of youth of today would actually find it pretty interesting, except I remember my mom took me roller skating once, and she ended up with a concussion because she fell back. So as long as we don't have that, I think there's like a level of preparation, right? Am I wrong on that? Or
absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. And like, man, when I tell you there was blood on the ice, there is blood on the ice. I chose not to include that in the movie, right? Like, you know, because I do want to say this movie was able to be made because of the synchronized skating community. We crowdfunded it, and it exists for them. And you're going to cut me off. My time's up.
No, I'm going to say, don't say the blood part. Nobody's going to want to partake now. Now we got no partakers. You can't be like, oh, there's blood on the ice. That's like, I don't want my blood on the ice.
Well,
but there's commitment, right? There's commitment. It's called commitment. Ballerina, same thing.
But look at it. Hockey players, they got helmets and pads. These women are out there doing it like barely clothed. Like, and you have to give them even more respect for it, right?
Thank you. Exactly. Get them the medal. Seriously. Okay, we need to make that happen. Angela, thank you for spending time with us here on the La Femme Film Festival virtual edition. Can't wait to see this. Do you know what day it's premiering there?
I believe October 15th. So thank you for having me.
No, thank you for joining us. Okay, can't wait to see more. Life in Synchro, seriously, people, we need to make this an Olympic sport. Seriously. It's better than some of the sports out there that are kind of boring. I'm just saying, there's a couple of them we could replace them with, right? Come on, Angela, don't tell me you're not thinking that.
I'm not saying it. I'm not saying that. I'm not alienating anyone.
You know, tug of war used to be an Olympic sport? Seriously.
Really?
Let's give, it's back in the early 1900s. They were bored. Okay, bye-bye, everybody. Well, we have one more coming up next here on our live stream. Joining us right now is Chen Drachman with the Book of Ruth. Chen,
Hey,
am I saying that right, or is it Shen?
it's actually Chen, like Hanukkah or L'chaim.
I would never know that. Okay, the Book of Ruth. Speaking of Hebrew, right? Is there any relation there on this particular short?
Well, I'm Israeli, and I am the executive producer, writer, and a cast member. So that would be the connection, I suppose.
Hey, maybe you were Ruth in a different lifetime. I don't know. I don't know if you believe on that. But look, obviously, Ruth, the Book of Ruth, talk to us about this. It's where Lizzie confesses to have known a related secret for years, and Ruth is left with some explaining to do.
Yes, as you described. I just don't know how much to get into spoilers territory, but basically that's our movie. It's I'd say it's a family movie. A family that comes to visit the grandma for Passover, and during the movie we find out like a huge secret about the grandma that actually relates to historical events, and the granddaughter is the one who discovers it, and she confronts her grandma, and kind of like through this confrontation we get to discuss certain themes like memory, the greater good, even a little bit like the dark side of fame. So yeah. And Ruth is our leading character. There are a lot of like small stuff there. If you do think about the Book of Ruth originally, it is a story about someone who left her home, followed someone else into like a foreign country, started a whole new life for herself. And that's sort of what happened for our lead character. I don't want to get too much into it.
It's okay.
Yeah, but that's it. Yeah.
Let's talk into the... You mentioned a lot of titles there, and sometimes in projects like this, sometimes you have to wear many hats. If you had to only choose one hat, though, and all the money was in the world, which hat would you choose?
I'd like to think of myself as an actress first, or rather that's what I like to do the most. It's a little easier to write because no one can stop you from writing. If you just, I mean, other than your own brain, of course, but you can just write. When you're an actor, you're depending on others to give you roles. So I'd say that benefit-wise, it's much nicer to write because I can just always do it. But I really do love acting.
Well, and writing is I'm not gonna lie, I'm terrible at writing. I got great concepts. I am not good with like certain descriptions of concepts. Does that make sense? I'm so backwards thinking. Like I would need to do talk to text because my brain just thinks too fast. What do you give somebody the encouragement to do when, let's say, they're sitting on the sidelines? I'll give you a perfect scenario, okay? I don't know how many actors are currently out of work right now because they cannot go and do something. But I always say if you have a camera lying around, put a mini project with just you and your family or make something happen. Is there like an idea that you can give people in generality to at least put your thoughts down to paper, such as myself?
It's very interesting. Actually, it's a really interesting question because the more I talk about writing with people, the more I see it. It's such a different process. It's such an individual process for anyone, for everyone. So I don't like if someone is looking for the right way, I really don't think there's something that is specifically the right way. If you manage to end up putting that story on paper somehow in a way that works for you, that's great. And I also would say, don't be discouraged by the fact that you've never done it before because then you'll never do it at all. So for me, for example, for years and years, when I wrote, it usually started with like a line of dialogue that I just really liked and popped into my head. And I kind of like developed the whole story around it. Like, okay, I know this sentence is being said at some point. Why was it being said? Like, by what sort of person would a sentence like this be said? But that's a very weird and specific way of writing. Many people work with structure. The things I'm working on right now, I worked in a completely different way. So I think if you're someone who's kind of like venturing for the first time, or think you can do it but never was like kind of like too fearful to try, I'd say try. I've had people reach out and say, hey, I have this idea, would you write this for me? And I'm like, I don't mind. I'd like the challenge, but why wouldn't you try to write it yourself? Because at the end of the day, if it's something you're passionate about, no one would be able to tell it better than you, because there was a reason why there was kind of like your own spark. You can definitely get assistance and consultation and learn about like formatting and stuff like that. But if it's something that kind of like your heart create, like kind of like sent into your brain, I think there's a reason why that happens. I definitely say try. You never know what's gonna happen.
I like that. I got 5 in my head right now. I got to put pen to paper. But I want to say thank you for that inspiration. I'm sure there's somebody watching out there that feels the same way. Look, with coronavirus, we got sometimes, I don't, but some people have more time than ever. And I say, you know what, put more good into the world. You know, you mentioned earlier something, you said you're Israeli, and you bring a different perspective of an Israeli woman than somebody that only writes about Israeli women. Is there any particular project coming up around the line that might involve that slant of yours that only you can tell?
Yeah, the one I'm working on right now. So obviously I try to write myself into all of my project, as evident by this, one that we're...
No judgment. I would do the same thing.
I'm not judging either. That's just how this industry works, But I would say that the one that I'm working on right now, it's actually like a feature comedy, which is very far from the Book of Ruth. Not as the lead role, but I did write myself like the role of an Israeli, which is great, because I would say I have a lot of Jewish American friends, and Israelis are very different from Jewish Americans, So even now, I became a citizen about a year ago. I'd say I consider myself Israeli American, so it's something different. So I do find with the people who are close to me in my life that are Jewish American that we do share that sarcasm, but obviously there is an Israeli nuance, and I think the only way to really see that is to write an Israeli character. So I am hoping to get to do that, and that would be amazing. And also probably the easiest for me to do.
I say you do like an Israeli family. Remember, there was a movie, what was it? I never knew that much about, it was My Greek Wedding, right? And I never knew in anything, honestly, about what it was like to be Greek until I actually saw a Greek woman write about a Greek family, her own family, right? So I don't know. It's just, just a thought.
That's
but
how
look, go ahead.
I mean, I'm in New York. There's so many Israelis here. So I'd say part of the new Jewish American culture is built on a lot of Israelis, just because or at least in like the big cities, LA as well. A lot, like I have a lot of I have Israeli friends in LA. So I'd say nowadays, and so many Jewish American people have family in Israel. So it makes a lot of sense to me that if you do see Jewish characters in movies and you do show the extended family, you'll also see like the visiting member, the visiting member of the family is coming from Israel to either like stir the pot or God knows what, So
hey,
we'll see.
There's one in every culture, trust me. Okay, I want to say thank you for spending time with us. The Book of Ruth, it's right here. The Femme Film Festival 2020 is where it's at. You can check it out. You can get your ticket. You can get just for this event, or you can get the whole thing for every event. Thank you so very much for spending time with us, and many blessings to you, okay?
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, that's it. That's our time. It has been a blast doing the very first. I think we did a marathon of interviews. I think we break the record for this amount of interviews given in one day at any festival. I don't think it's been done. I think we need to like apply for the Book of Guinness World Record. Can somebody check that out? Okay, look, in all jest though, seriously, can somebody check it out? There's a lot of information, and I would be amiss not to share with you again how you can get it. It is all right here at the La Femme Film Festival. I'm going to open this up for you guys to go ahead and check it out. It is all available for your viewing pleasure. And it is amazing. And there it is. Okay, so women created media for global audiences. Yes, October 15th through the 18th. Our first ever virtual fest. It is a fantastic thing that's happening all around the world, but it's emanating here from our very own backyard in Beverly Hills, California, showcasing content made by women worldwide, celebrating and honoring women, producers, directors, writers, many of them that you see right here on this broadcast. So if you want to support, all you have to do is, I'm going to scroll down to, you could, if you just want to get one of the movies, because one of the movies thought, oh man, that was just a really eye-opener, right? There was probably one, maybe two, maybe three. I'll be honest, I have like 20 right now that I want to go check out right here, right now. I would just go for the Film Pass, right? $19.99. It gets you access to all the officially selected film screenings of 100 plus films. I mean, if you want to do the panel, you could do that as well, especially if you're wanting to get into film. That's something for you. Maybe you have only time for that. Maybe you have time for all of it. Then go get the All Access Pass. That includes everything and then some. And you know what? I would invite, what's the harm? Invite a couple friends over, right? So there you go. Look, I know this is where it's at, and I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for, again, making it possible for us to do our job, to be able to get this information out to each and every one of you. And whatever you do, remember this. We need more perspective, okay? Whether it be, look, I hate the whole men versus women idea, but the idea has legitimacy. There are so many men that are like, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. To which I say, well then, dude, you don't know what you're talking about. If you're that man, get out of here, which I have a feeling they're not even watching, right? I think only the people that really understand at least the ability to have more women filmmakers, writers, directors, of course, so many different perspectives, and then diversity, right? That's what all of this show has been about, diversity. I love La Femme, and I love La Femme because it brings everybody around, no matter what side of the border you're on, north, south, east, west, over the international waters. I mean, how many people did we have from around the globe right here on this film festival? That's what La Femme is about, and that's what I think you're going to appreciate if you want to get outside of your bubble, or maybe you're already that person that's outside of the bubble, right? And you like to see it from a world perspective, not just a little tiny, right? That's how I see a lot of people. They just look at things right through a little tiny frame, when in reality, it's so much wider. So let's enjoy it together. Let's love it, and let's bring into harmony, again, more love in the world. I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez. I want to say a big thank you to each and every crew member here. We had so many hosts that were able to join us the entire day. I want to say thank you to Leslie Lapage, who helps bring this together each and every year. Seriously, that woman, I don't think I ever want my own film festival. I would just be like, Leslie, you have at it, okay? Here's the reality. Each and every one of you have no idea how many hours are spent behind the scenes, so each and every dollar counts, okay? It is a nonprofit. Don't forget that. If you give to charity, then, hey, you know what? Even if you, I mean, you're going to want to see at least one film. But look, even if you didn't see any of them, what's the harm in just donating to a great cause? I appreciate each and every one of you. Big shout out to Adam, who's been speaking literally behind the scenes. He did this all from the comfort of his couch. Seriously, I'm jealous. He even had a bottle of wine. I know he didn't know I was going to throw that out there, but you know what, Adam? I'm jealous of you. I think I'm going to open a bottle now because I think we deserve it, okay? Champagne for everybody, wherever you're tuning in. Thank you for making this day special. And this week, this is a fantastic week. It's the first ever. It's a historic 16th annual La Femme Film Festival done virtually thanks to coronavirus. Yeah, see, the coronavirus doesn't knock us down. We knock it down. Boom. And we do it safely, securely, and we don't throw caution to the wind. Thank you, everybody, for spending time with us here on the... What is it? It's my time? We're done? That's a wrap. Bye-bye, folks.